Good morning, Wildcat Nation. Welcome to K-ROG here in Wildcat Morning with me and Keaton in the Resource Center studios here in beautiful Jamestown, Rogersville. We have a special guest with us this morning, Dr. Shawn Randles, Superintendent of Schools. Thanks for coming in this morning.
I appreciate it.
All right, we are going to turn to our verse of the day real fast. We are in Deuteronomy 6, chapter 6, verse 5. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. Of course, that's one of those verses that you sort of go, yeah, okay. But you think about it, it kind of breaks it down because it talks about all your heart, all your soul, all your might. And then you see it, Jesus repeats it later, all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And you think, well, what does that mean? Those four different aspects. And I've heard people break it down and talk about how, well, this part means this and this part means that. But what I really think it's capturing, both in this verse and in when Jesus reiterates it later, is just everything. It's just everything that you do, everything that you have is about loving God and serving God. And so I think that's the takeaway today. You guys got any thoughts about that? Want to throw that in?
Oh, we related to education as having a servant's heart too.
Yeah.
And so all your heart, all your soul, all your might. And we have teachers that are pouring themselves.
Oh, you really do.
Into it.
Yeah, I've said it, and you've heard me say it. I've said it to you. We have the most fantastic school district I could imagine. I'm still shocked that people live around here want to homeschool. I don't understand that. Nothing against them. I mean, it's a valid choice, but I get it. If you live in a school district that doesn't have your values, that doesn't have, I don't know, but that's not true of Rogersville. We got great teachers, great administration. They love kids, love God, and it's part of the school district.
Well, there's a lot of great leaders out there. I was telling the guys as I was coming in this morning that one great thing that came out of the pandemic is that there's a group of us superintendents around the state, even a guy from Kansas that we meet on via Zoom, and it's a men's prayer group every Friday morning, and just knowing that there's godly people leading our public schools.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome. And you do not see that kind of thing anywhere else.
No, and public schools I think come under a lot of attack, from conservative Christian groups because education has been one of the ways that non-Christian have tried to invade the culture, and it's just great to have people like you and people like you leading our schools. So thank you for doing that.
Well, I'm glad I found the group because we've all struggled.
Yeah.
And I've had my struggles, but grace, there's grace in everything.
Absolutely. We strong believers in grace. So you're here for a reason. A couple of things you wanted to make sure the community was aware of. So
yeah. So COVID has kind of dominated our entire world this year, and unfortunately, but we have done a pretty good job of dealing with it and staying in school. And there are over 50 school districts in the state of Missouri that still have not gone to school in person. There are schools that have not played sports, like they canceled all fall and winter sports. And so I'm so grateful that we had the support of our community to do that and come to school. And I know quarantines are a hassle and the guidelines that we have to follow with the health departments, but all those measures are in place to keep us safe and to keep us in school. And so I'm grateful that we're in school. But the topic that came up back in November, December, the CDC put boots on the ground in St. Louis County and Greene County, and they work with just SPS and Rockwood in St. Louis County. And for 7 days, they did a little preliminary study of the effects of the mitigation strategies that schools had in place. And when they sent kids home on quarantine, what effects did that have? Were kids at home getting COVID? So they found enough evidence that they wanted to come back. And in the meantime, I'm part of the Greater Ozarks Cooperating School Districts. And so we sent the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed, we sent the governor, we sent the Department of Health and Senior Services, we sent them our data. And now it's data that we collected. But at October 15th, we had like 16,000 COVID cases in 83 Southwest Missouri schools, resulting in 16,000. So 1,600 cases resulted in 16,000 quarantines. That's too many kids staying home.
Yeah.
So either quarantines were working or we were overreacting a little bit because less than 1% of the kids that went home developed COVID, which is the goal. Yeah. And so we sent that data in. They've studied it. They've come back, and now they have included Republic and LR with SPS. They've broadened the study, and they're doing the same thing in St. Louis County. And so like schools, a bigger school like Republic and then a smaller school like us. And so our nurses are working with the CDC and Washington University, and we'll have a publication in the World Health Organization magazine that comes out. And so you think about the Great Clips article that came out way back in like March, April, May, somewhere around there, where they were, you remember the two hairstylists that were all
I had a
masked?
friend who got his hair cut there.
Oh, so he was one of the ones that was masked, and
He did not get it.
so that made world news. And so here we turn around almost a year later, and maybe we'll have another article from little bitty Southwest Missouri that makes world news.
And we're a world news making town because if you'll remember, our haunted house made world news.
That is true. There's a lot of great things.
We're in the Guinness World Record book.
We are in the Guinness World Record book of having the largest game of Duck, Duck, Goose.
Yep.
Yes.
We've had Lauren Daigle.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got Jace Robertson coming.
Yeah.
This
We
happening?
have Keaton Garrett.
We have Keaton Garrett.
Got me.
It's a happening town.
It is. It is.
Anything else big on the horizon for the school you want to talk about while you're here?
Well, this morning, actually, and I apologize if I have to run, but we are hosting, it was a last minute thing, someone canceled, but we're hosting Southwest MASA, which is Missouri Association of School Administrators, a bunch of suits that show up.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them will be in Chiefs gear today, hopefully. But
I saw Mike Scott was decked out
Yeah.
down there at the coffee shop this morning.
But Carla Esslinger, she's one of our Missouri State, and she's going to be here today talking about legislation that's happening at the Capitol right now. And public education is a little bit under attack. And
Are you saying legislation in the state of Missouri?
yes,
Okay.
state of Missouri legislation. And public education is a little bit under attack this year. Educational savings accounts, vouchers, charter schools, virtual. They're trying to cram a square peg in a round hole, and we know that one size does not fit all, but we know best how to educate our kids. And so the learning options that we're putting in place, and we want to provide choice to parents, but we don't need legislators telling us exactly how that's going to work, because profit organizations will come in and swoop in and try to take some of that money.
Yeah.
And we don't need public money going to private organizations.
Well, it's like anything else. We've talked about the farther away you are from a target, the harder it is to hit it. And so it's easier for us in Rogersville to educate our kids than it is for them to tell us out of Jeff City or even Washington how to do that. So we're big fans of local control. So
Yep, exactly.
good deal. Well, if you got to run, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Keaton's week. He had a heck of a week.
I'll have to put my earbuds in and tune in.
But yeah, thanks again for being here. And
Yeah.
appreciate you coming in. And of course, you're welcome anytime. And if you got just a second, quick question. You know, at the very beginning of the school district, we did a little special K-ROG announcement because we needed to clarify kind of a protocol. The idea that, hey, if someone in your house is getting tested, don't send your kids to school, because we had that cascade problem, because now the kids have been in school for a couple of days, but they were exposed. And did we solve that problem?
Parents are doing so much better.
Good.
If there are any symptoms going on, and I know it's cold and flu season, and you can get a runny nose just being outside, but if you have some symptoms, please take precautions, because if you are not careful enough and you send your child to school, then their 24 other classmates may be exposed and have to go home, and then that's just a burden on 25 other families.
Yeah, so it's better to have your kids stay home for a day or two
and verify what's going on.
Then, just out of an abundance of caution.
And attendance, our attendance is terrible this year, but so's everybody else. So the state's going to have to make some adjustments there on funding. We need kids in school, but we also don't need to take those be too risky.
Got some competing interests going on.
Well,
there.
yeah, and most of our contacts are coming from outside of school. So, or the cases, most of the cases are coming from outside of school, well over half. And so the study, the CDC, what they're finding is that birthday parties and funerals and church and the mall are more of an exposure than school, because schools have mitigation in place. Like, kids are doing a great job of wearing masks.
Yeah.
And it's like anything with high school kids, they pull them down a little bit, but for the most part, our kids are doing amazing wearing the masks. And that's why we're staying in school, because of the modified quarantine rules. If both parties have their masks on and there was a close contact, then they get to stay in school. They're quarantined officially by the health department, but the modification means that school's so important, you can come to school, and then when you leave school at 3:30, you're quarantined. You're supposed to be quarantined.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
And we're working with Webster County. Webster and Greene County don't align, and so we're working with them to try to come into alignment a little better and pumping a lot of data at them and asking a lot of questions, because Webster County's still 14 days. Greene County has 10. And you can test back in with a negative test after 7. But if you live in Webster, it's 14.
Yeah.
And so we're really pressing on them to have some consistency there. And they're great partners, though, to work with. Sure. And they're doing the best they can, and they're studying their data. And,
That's great with the kids, though, because, as much as you think lots of kids, they don't want to go to school, or they don't want to do this class or that class, they don't want to do it all on the computer. You know, that's just not fun. You don't learn anything. You don't enjoy it. You don't get anything out of it.
When we survey our kids, they want to be in school.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do. Yeah.
Once again, thanks for stopping in. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy your meeting. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So, Keaton, tell me about this week of yours. You had a biggie.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? It all started when I was born May 28, 1999. The heavens opened up. No, I went for an overnight run a week ago today. Started at 9. Parked at that hotel right across from Mercy, that new Holiday Inn. It's very well lit. And
you mean the one like at Evans Road?
Mercy in Springfield.
Okay, so down kind of in the middle, like Sunshine and National?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Next to Walgreens or CVS or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got you.
But super well lit.
Yep.
Not in a bad part of town. And we didn't park at the trailhead on this trail that we're going to run on, because that is not a safe place. It's pitch dark.
You need to use your microphone.
And there's a lot of break.
That's why you're wearing headphones, so you'll know, but it's not working.
Gosh. But we parked there because it was safe. It's well lit, whatever. We started to run. We got back around 1:30 or 2. And you were chit-chatting, and I walk up to my car, and I see this glass on the ground. I'm like, somebody broke a bottle. That wasn't there before. That's kind of rude. And then I look up.
A bottle.
Yeah, and busted 3 windows in. Stole some computers and a printer and some of my business stuff and everything.
It's probably all those Biden stickers that you have on your
all
vehicle that
Uncle
got you
Joe stickers
got you
I have on my
vandalized.
car, yeah. But that was just an ordeal. We tried to do the smart thing in the right part of town and in a well-lit area. Of course, the hotel didn't have cameras, and we waited a while. They had hit like 4 cars, and the police officer said that it had been kind of a pattern. The same time of month for the past few months, they've hit this same hotel.
Yeah, I will say hotels are parking lots are kind of a target because people are travelers, and so that's the only thing there.
So not a fun thing
at
all.
No, you didn't have a good week.
I didn't have an exceptional week. One of my friends, her car got hit too, and she was like, "It's just a small inconvenience, like whatever." And I'm like, I am not happy at all.
Yeah,
I was, not about it.
Hey, it was 2-3 weeks ago. My truck got hit, the door ding in the truck, and I was not happy.
Yeah,
and I was in a Walgreens parking lot. Somebody hit and run. And we looked at the cameras, and it didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have cameras out there, and I think if it's a pattern, why are you not protecting your customers?
It seems to me like all hotels should have surveilled parking lots.
Yeah,
because it is such a target. That would just be a good thing for them to have for the security of their guests. But you can't.
It was not a fun thing. I kind of felt vandalized.
You feel violated.
Yeah, and so
it's a big deal.
It was freezing cold, and I was shivering.
And you had to drive home.
Well, I had sweats in the car. I didn't want to put them on, though.
Yeah.
Because they had dug through my bags and threw everything out. I was like, I just don't want to do that. I can't comprehend that. Damaging someone else's property, doing whatever, and then just taking things.
Hey, Ethan Lippert played in the Duck Duck Goose Game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, did you?
Ethan and I were in the same grade. Yep.
Oh, were you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ethan.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching the show today. Appreciate it.
Somebody said hi, Tammy Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, hi, Tammy. Beth Fairbanks says hi, Tammy Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. But hey, if you were the one that broke into my car, what's that thing that Liam Neeson said?
I'm coming for you.
I will find you.
I don't know. I never watched that
movie. I don't think
movie.
that we can say that on the radio.
You think
the
it's
second
copy?
part.
Oh, I actually haven't watched the movie, so.
I think it's like I will kill you.
Oh.
Which is against the law, so don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
I will find you though, and I will
Keaton
uphold
is
the utmost law on you.
a mission. Yeah,
I've got a lawyer right next to me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. So
He's gonna throw you in jail.
Anything going on this weekend?
Tomorrow is the Cabin Reliever 5K, 10K, 20K at Rogersville High School.
Is that how much money you're giving out?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Because it would take that to get me to run.
5K, 10K.
At least 5K. 35K sounds about right to me. If you want me to run somewhere, yeah.
But that's a great event put on by Ozark Mountain Ridge Runners. And they support the schools and everything. So
awesome.
It's a great event, yeah.
And then Sunday there's a thing, right?
Sunday there's a thing. There's some local football game.
Local team.
Yeah, local team. Is that at Kansas City this year?
I really don't know.
I don't either.
I don't think they have. I don't think like the World Series plays at the home stadium.
Yeah,
I don't think.
right.
I don't think the Super Bowl does that. I'm
not a football guy, but I was confused last year when it wasn't.
Yeah, it gets awarded. So I mean, if it happens that a team gets home field advantage, it's pure.
Very rare.
Yeah, it'd be pure luck. I mean, they would have had to have been awarded it before they even knew.
It'd be a blessing.
Yeah, I think they know. I mean, I think they award it a year or two ahead of time. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
But you don't. So you maybe want to get your team in shape. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
there's some good football player on the Kansas City Chiefs team that everybody talks about.
Homie. Yeah.
Yeah. Mahomes.
My homie.
I think it's Mahomes.
My Holmes.
My Holmes.
My Holmes. John Pope, of course, from the Chain Gang, is letting us know he knows it's in Tampa. Yeah. Tampa, and then Appleseed, Lyle Talley tells us, Appleseed, grateful for our Christian elder educators. Yeah, Appleseed is a fantastic organization started by local guy, Pete Fritch. He was a Young Life guy. Young Life guy.
Pete?
Everybody knows Pete.
Okay.
Everybody knows Pete. So, but it's a ministry focused on supporting Christian educators. So they support the educators, and it's brilliant because you talk about having boots on the ground.
Is that the thing Becky's in?
I'm sure Becky's involved. Oh, yeah, I think Becky's actually hardcore in that.
Yeah.
Your unofficial future mother-in-law, isn't that? I have something to tell you off the air.
Yeah. I will say, though, coming from, I grew up in Rogersville. I went there for preschool all the way, and I graduated. They let me graduate. It was a blessing, that was. And then I went to Drury, which is a liberal, school.
Yeah, I was at Drury.
MSU.
40 acres of 40 Christians on acres of atmosphere. That's what it was. That was what it was.
But it's a very different thing. I didn't realize how blessed I was to grow up in Rogersville in this school district and transition to, it's not that
having teachers that hate you.
Well, it's just that you have a different outlook on life. Just because they're not up there preaching out of the Bible, in science class, doesn't mean that, they don't have that kind of in the forefront of their mind, Christ. And it's a different atmosphere in class. It's a different relationship you have with them and a different style of teaching, I think.
Well, and I sort of have, I have this mental pushback. When people say Christians are anti-science, that's not true.
No.
I'm very pro-science. All good science proves God.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
It just,
Gotcha.
time after time after time, you get these things like, we've traced back that, all humans are related to the same three original females. We're like, yeah, it's in Genesis. We knew that. It's like, that's not news.
And then Adam, they were together, and then everybody spawns from them.
And then you got Noah, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. Boom.
Weird how that
Weird
worked,
how
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually reading a really cool book now called The Shortest Leap. And it's about how logic requires leaps sometimes. And it talks about how the shortest leap to understanding the way everything works, if you're just honest about the science, is that the Bible's true and the gospel is real. And actually, the very first chapter is fascinating because it says, if you consider Einstein's theory of relativity, and therefore the compression of time, the faster you get to the closer that you get to the speed of light. If you assume a Big Bang, okay, when the Big Bang happened, matter was spewed out in all directions at its fastest speed.
Mhm.
So at that point, it's the closest to the speed of light. So you have your greatest compression of time. So you have a day at that time period is an extremely long period of time. The second day would be a comparatively shorter, third day shorter, fourth day shorter, fifth day shorter, because matter is slowing down, and they've charted matter is and it's not because of friction, because there's no friction, but the gravitational fields is still acting on everything to produce a deceleration of the expanding universe. They did the math. And if you do that math, including the compression of time, and you look at what science says about when matter formed, life formed, all that stuff, if you do the math, the first day God created, and then the second day the matter formed, it actually biblically aligns fairly closely with those days when you take into consideration the compression of time. So total Christian geek out right there.
Yeah.
But fascinating study.
It is fascinating. I always struggle with the Big Bang, and you know, you can say, well, I'm dumb for having faith in something I don't know exists, or this or that, but how do you, I don't know how to wrap my mind around that. Something happened, and then, you know, everything happened just perfectly.
Well,
like our bodies are built insanely perfectly for us to survive on this planet.
Right.
You know?
Well, if a Big Bang happened, and if it did, it's because God caused it to happen. That was the method by which he chose to create.
And for us to understand it, maybe.
And for us to understand. Yeah. That's great. That doesn't mean that, and certainly I believe God continues to be active in the way life was formed. So I don't think life formed spontaneously. God created life, but he did so potentially, according to this book, supposes, and the book is not, this was the way it happened. It's like, hey, it's just, this makes sense. This is the way. The timing lines up. That's really the only premise here, is that when you do the math, you do the science, honestly, it actually does line up with the biblical account. Even if you're an old earth creationist, this actually supports that position pretty well. Yeah. I've always been a young earther.
I'm young.
And you know, people say, well, but I know that. Just because I turned 50 this month. Ooh, you're not even 25. Yeah, I'm like over twice your age. But I see no reason why God could not have created a new earth with old attributes.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, it's not that they're old attributes; it's just how he had it.
Well, I mean, it gives the appearance of, you know, based on our.
He can do whatever he wants.
Hey, there's so much more faith required in science than people will admit. I mean, it's faith all the time that and I think the greatest amount of faith required is to be an atheist. You gotta have a strong faith to deny all the evidence that's out there and say there's no God when there's so much staring you in the face. Anyway, it's probably time to wrap this up. Get on with our day.
Step off of the soapbox.
Thanks for everybody watching this morning. Appreciate it. I'm sure Dr. Randles was a big draw. We had a nice audience this morning. Lots of people commenting, several folks commenting. Thank you. We appreciate that. Big things coming from K-ROG. We are so excited about the community support, our sponsor support. If you want to be a part of K-ROG, there's always room for more. We're moving studios. We're upgrading equipment. And thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the Resource Center for help making that happen. Sportsland, very faithful monthly sponsor. Sportsland pickup covers. You know I love my pickup cover. I talk about it every week. My swing
I love
cases.
Will's new hat.
Yeah, I know.
But hey,
they're not a paying sponsor, so we're not going to mention them.
Yeah. Comment if you are interested in me starting a K-ROG belly dancing, where you watch 30 minutes straight of me belly dancing.
Or feel free to comment that you don't want
to see
that.
Yeah, we're just trying to.
I think it would be better. Maybe we could
want.
take sponsors. Like, if you don't want Keaton to belly dance, send us $5. And we'll prevent him from doing that.
$5 a month, and you won't see me belly dance.
There you
on
go.
Your Facebook.
That's a good threat right there. Thanks to everybody for watching this morning. We'll be back on Monday with Dollars and Cents, Tuesday with K-ROG in the morning. All weekend, we got sports tonight. We got Chain Gang Sunday. We got coaches shows. This is a happening place. It's a happening place.
Rogersville's happening.
You have a great weekend, Rogersville. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. K-ROG out.